Hello, welcome to another stream. This time I'm covering the Castelli series race that I did yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and get this started. It was a Cat 2-3 race. As you can see here, I had like the ISO set to really low on my GoPro, so it's pretty dark right now. But yeah, just got started there. Going into this race, I had I messed up my sleep. I totally messed up my sleep twice. Uh, it was on Thursday night. I didn't sleep the night. Pretty much just stayed up all night. I'm not sure why. I think I've been messing up my diet, and that's been affecting my sleep. And then Saturday night, I just didn't sleep. So I have like such a bad sleep deficit, and I'm coming in, and because I have the sleep deficit, the like my legs are sore from the workouts that I did. It's like I didn't even train that much last week. I think I got a total of 120 miles and 130, something like that. It was a lot of intensity this past week. I had had VO2 max. I had a threshold. Then I did like Tour of Watopia. I did Tour of Watopia without any erg modes, and I ended up racing the first one, and that kind of messed me up as well. So yeah. So why am I saying this? I was off the back of this race. I was off the back. I made it to about I made it past the halfway mark, which was quite a feat for me. But then my water bottle ejected. I looked down. No, my water bottle ejected. I went up the hill, and then I was like gassed, and I was like, that's it. And I think it had to have been the lack of sleep, but on the and I also think I might have. I have a carbon bottle cage. I'm going to replace it. I accidentally broke the cage because I was messing with my saddle. Was jammed in there, and I think like I had put my hand on it, and I heard a crack on it, and this is like the second time it's ejected a water bottle. It doesn't like visibly, it doesn't look like it's any damage, but it's just not like a simple pothole will eject just the one water bottle from the one cage that I heard the crack from. So most likely it probably has like a micro fracture in the carbon from doing that. So that's unfortunate. It was like a $50 cage. I ordered an alloy one to replace it that apparently weighs the same. The Supercaz, the anodized ones. So yes, this is a 2-3 race. So the numbers are really low. My number for all the Castelli series, I think there's a bunch of Castelli races. They do a 2-3, they do a Masters, and then they do a 4-5 race. And women are, of course, free to enter any of these races. So there were a couple. I saw a couple women in this race. That there's one to the right there, and yeah, they're just racing in the 2-3 fields and the other fields as well. And yes, it's very interesting. For whatever reason, I was riding in this pack, and I realized that it's not, for me, it's not about being too close to the rider front. That doesn't really bother me. What's bothering me lately is having people too close at the side. So this is why I'm sort of at the back, not super efficient, because for some whatever reason, I'm not comfortable being side by side with someone, and I just don't understand that. Also, I don't know why my camera is so shaky. Like, I guess I need to adjust the options or something. This is a GoPro Hero 9. There should be some image stabilization in there, but it doesn't appear that there is much of that going on. But yeah, this I didn't bother putting the videos together, but I am going to speed up the footage. No, I'm going to speed up the footage. We are going to go faster. Playback speed. Because I mean, I'm showing it. I'm trying to show this faster because, to be honest, I just sat on the back and then I ran out of energy after I ejected my water bottle, and it may have been also the water bottle. So it was like really cold. It was really cold. It was 35 degrees. No, yes, something like that. 35 degrees, and yeah, it was. I was really cold. My hands and feet were okay. I had that covered. My torso was okay, but I was wearing 2 base layers and winter cycling jacket, and my arms were cold. And I was like, wow, my arms are cold, and of course my face was cold, and it was also hard to drink the water, but I kind of forced myself to drink it at regular intervals, because in my water bottle I had some Gatorade mix. The Gatorade Zero, just has a little bit of salt in it, and also a half a cup of sugar. And I had gone through and had one of the bottles already, or most of one, before the race. Yeah, that was fairly interesting. I don't know where people want to call me right now. But that's how it goes. It says scam lately. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just sitting in. There were people crossing in front of me, but I never felt like I was far enough away to lose people. Like I was sitting in, but I probably would have been better if I stayed like in the middle of this group if I was going to do that. But because I don't feel great about having people left and right of me, I'm like trying to take this inside line. And because I don't like people next to me, like when I feel like someone on my right is squeezing me, of course, it's against the rules to go into the jogger's lane. You get disqualified and banned from racing in the park. So I just let myself drop back when I notice that people are taking up that side thing. And it's kind of my fault, because I should be able to ride in the center of this group to maximize this drafting effect, and not be uncomfortable with that. I should, but I'm not doing that. So there's just something. I think the more I race, the more I sit in, my confidence with that will improve. With this stuff, I want to see if I can pull up my Strava. Is that going to come up? Yes. So if I go to my Strava, sure. So because I didn't post the stats here. I didn't post the stats, but I can shrink this down here and put the stat to the side. Anyway, so I pretty much killed my Garmin file as soon as I lost the race, as soon as I lost the field. But I stuck with them. I think, yeah, it was 12. It was 12 laps. So it would have been 37 miles. So making it up to almost 20. That's halfway. So that's a good chunk of time I made it. But yeah, I kept doing this thing where I was gapping on the descent, and that was, I guess me not being very confident about descending and pulling my rear brake a little bit. Not the front one. I was like making sure not, like, don't pull your front one. Yeah, I noted here on the bright side, I lasted more than half the race. True. Yes, I did Prospect Park I did Prospect Park and Central Park, the 1, 2, 3 races, and I lasted 2 laps. So 3 mile laps. This is so 4 laps is 12, 5 laps 15. So just over 6 laps. So I just over half the race. So comparing my fitness, October, it was the October one and the August one. So I'm pretty much up there with my August fitness, and that's pretty amazing because my FTP was actually 336. And part of that has been cutting down the weight. I did gain a couple pounds before the race because I was just trying to carb up. But when I do the Zwift stuff, I try to manage my diet a little more closely. But yeah, I've been trying to lose some weight. My goal, I think my ideal racing weight will be like 176, and that would give me a comfortable 4 watts per kilo at this FTP. And that's kind of where I just need to be as a Cat 3, basically. I'm sure a lot of these guys are higher than that. They're probably the people up front, the people pulling this race are close to 5. So like this is like 4 watts per kilogram is just kind of what I need to be efficient here. So, but yeah, this descending, like even though I gapped that every time, the group seemed to slow down at the bottom of every hill. So I barely needed to pedal to rejoin that group, but I should really improve that confidence there. And especially it's Prospect Park. It's a much easier hill. It's a much easier descent. If you do Central Park, you have the chicane, the S turn with the construction, and you can't even see around the corner. This one you can see the whole hill. There's no thinking about it, and plus it's early in the morning. It's very clear. You can actually see decently now with the sun out, but I don't know. I think I need to adjust the settings for sure. Maybe enable horizon lock or something like that. I don't know. I have an old Hero 9, and I pretty much shoot in 1080p 30 FPS. I've tried shooting in higher frame rates, but to be honest, it's like when you watch the footage in real time at high frame rates, it really slows it down. It's like you could be going 20 miles an hour and it looks like you're going like 10, and it's like it's really really hard to watch. Like this sped up makes more sense to me. There were crashes in this race. There were people that pulled off to the sides, but I managed to stay on. But I think this is towards the end of where I was kind of holding on here. And yeah, there were a lot of different folks that were kind of tailgating here. That guy has an aero suit on with leg warmers. I was not. I was just wearing I was just wearing tights and the two base layers, the cycling jacket. I had just bought lake shoes. They're like the CXZ 176. They were to replace the Shimano RW7s that I had for a number of years, but I accidentally ripped I messed up the shoelace and I ripped the top cover for it. So I just tossed those and I got the lake shoes. And so what's so special about the lake shoes? They're like regular cycling shoes, but they're completely sealed at the bottom. So they're sealed shoes. That means the toe warmers actually work because there's no vents in the shoe. Of course, if you get soaked, that's a problem. So if you're going out and you're going to race in the rain, definitely velo toes, or you definitely need velo toes. Now, I wore the neoprene covers for this race, and that worked out pretty well. That was enough to keep my ankles warm, and that connected to my tights pretty well. But yeah, like even though you have those things, it's still like, what does that do for your face? And here I am with my arms. I'm freezing with my arms. The first lap of this race was unusually slow. I was really surprised. Like it typically is a little faster, but it wants it today. But it may be just like this is one of the first race kind of things. But yeah, I wasn't marking anyone in particular. I was just kind of sitting in and just trying to figure out, okay, how can I slot in here best, but not without having someone too close to me. And that was probably a mistake. Maybe I used more energy than I needed to. Maybe it could have been more zone 2. When I looked at my Garmin, I was not getting zone 2. It was like at least a tempo ride, but it definitely crossed over into threshold zone a lot. So that's why those watts per kilo, they really matter. And I quote these high numbers is because when you have that, you can handle thresholds at really high watts per kilo. That means that for these portions where you don't really need to work hard, you just sit in the back and not really working. It's not anything you have to really think about because it's just zone 2 work, and the better your watts per kilo, the lower your zone 2 work. It's like, there's high zone 2 and low zone 2. So if you can get that, a low to mid zone 2 going, at this speed, like that's amazing. That's what I can imagine that, most people, that's what they're doing. Like they're fit enough to be sitting at zone 2 and be able to handle all these efforts, all these surges, no problem. Whereas I'm like kind of flagging. I am just about to give it up here. I'm pretty close to giving it up here. I wasn't keeping track of how many laps it was because I'm just running this. Like I said, I'm running it straight through. I thought about recording this yesterday, but I was like a zombie yesterday. I slept for 90 minutes after the race, and then but I got a full 8 hours last night. But of course, my Garmin's like, oh yeah, you need 60 hours of recovery, and I'm like, yeah. So this is where I just said no thanks.